of smoking cannabis that was dried in like 3 days,
Yeah.
5 days.
It's dried in the car, man, on the dashboard.
Right. And it looked great.
Yeah.
And it didn't smell great, but I knew it came from a good strain.
Yep.
But it definitely tasted like hay almost.
Yeah, you gotta let that chlorophyll break down. It's it's an enzymatic thing. It takes a few days.
So you want a time, you don't want it to dry too fast, because even though it'll be smokable, it'll still have all that chloroform. Chloroform?
No, chlorophyll. Chloroform's a little different,
That's
man.
okay.
Yeah.
Don't want to be smoking that either.
No.
So you want to time it out to where as it dries, it's kind of matching up with breaking down that chlorophyll, and that also helps improve the taste.
Huge.
Or at least gets rid of that grassy taste.
It's a huge improvement in the taste, and I'll try to, sometimes things don't go perfectly. It'll dry even 7 days. So what I'll do is I'll take it and I'll leave it mostly on the stem because there's a bunch of moisture in the stem. By the way, when I try to dry with big giant stems so that it keeps a bunch of moisture in there and dries a bit slower.
Okay, slow down the dry a little bit.
Yeah, but then when it's getting close, and I do the joint test, I'll grind something up and I'll take a look and I'll be like, all right, this will barely burn in a joint. It'll burn, but it'll keep going out. It'll give me black ash. That's when it's time to throw it in. I have a 5-gallon bucket. Most people throw it in like a quart mason jar, and then they call it a cure. That's when they call it curing and burping. So
That's just like the final touch.
yeah, you're putting the final finishing touches on. If I leave it in my grow closet too long or my drying closet too long, it might get crispy. Just here, if you're in a jar, it pulls a little bit of the moisture out, then you can release it. Sometimes they'd say once or twice a day you'd open the jar. They call it burping the jar. You leave it open for 10 minutes or so, and that's getting into, they call that curing, and that's like the slow breakdown of the rest of that chlorophyll. And as it cures more up to a point, it gets really smooth and mellow.
Okay, and then you mentioned only keeping your jar open for about 10 minutes or your bucket open for about 10 minutes. I've heard you use the term terp burglar before. What's that?
Yeah, if you leave the jar totally off, the lid of the jar totally off, you're going to let all those terpenes evaporate. You're also going to let all that moisture evaporate. Remember, we need moisture to keep that enzymatic breakdown going. Yeah, so if it's too dry, you're just stopping everything, and yeah, you're going to get much less quality.
Gotcha. Okay, man. So from when we're growing it, when we're having it flower,
Sure.
when we're harvesting it, and then all the way up into how we're storing it, all of these have an impact on the flavor and aroma of that cannabis you grew.
It makes sense, right? I mean, the terpenes are these little balls of cannabinoids and terpenes. All sorts of, valuable chemicals are in there. We want to preserve them. It makes sense that when you volatilize them, when you vaporize them, when you smoke them, they go away, right? They go into the air. They're volatilized off. So we want to keep that from happening in our grow, in our drying area. We want to wait and have that happen when we're actually inhaling.
So basically, produce them, protect them, and then give it time to get rid of that chlorophyll at the end.
Produce them, protect them, preserve them.
Ah, there we go.
Hey, but those are just my tips for growing the most flavorful, terpene-rich bud that I can. But what about you? You got any great tips? Share them in the comments. And if you dug this video, hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Talk about this video with another grower you know. And check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommended. I sure hope you'll take them.
Give it gas when I'm in competition, getting past, living fast, furious, staying on track, never worry when I'm spinning. Last better get in, back, ride for my dog, alphabeted on us, you gon' get it back, never split this pack. Whenever I witness cap, we ain't fucking with your fiction, facts, your conviction lacks. When I get up in my bag, I'ma spend, we ain't tripping off tax, clipping this tag, working on my wish list, cooking this cake. Let me flip this stack, you a flash in the pan, while you relaxing, I can't. My team finna pack the sedan, putting tracks in the sand, pushing my craft for the fam, got the people all clapping their hands, putting cash in my brand, keeping my octane high, my graded premium, not 8-9 or 8-7, and when I run across state line, I'm 9-1, I gun it, clock great time, my time come, disappearing in the dark horizon, way I cut turns, I'm as sharp as diamonds, got 'em on tilt like a car's alignment, this is raw refinement, not a